So it's just to that. You were showing that yesterday. So that's French tuck.
French tuck.
Got it.
Yeah. When you do it, it's the Turkish tuck.
I can't do that because my shirts are too tight.
That is true. Look at that damn thing.
I don't even know how he tries to conceal anything, honestly.
I don't have to conceal anything.
What do you, all right, what are we getting at?
You're a former
There we go. I knew that was
Oh,
coming. I was like, I can't conceal these. There it was.
I'm joking.
Welcome back, everybody, to the CF podcast. I am Clint, and we've got the magical, beautiful voice of Ryan with us today.
How's it going, guys?
And, of course, I was about to say something kind of like
our Turkish delight.
Oh, wow. I like that.
That's good. Of course you would. That's Kaya.
The Turkish delight Kaya over here.
And we are very happy and excited to introduce our guest today. We've got, I think I'm doing this right, at ThePieceOfMind _
Yes.
Sarah with us today.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Well,
hello.
Thank you for joining us and hanging out with us these past couple of days. We've had a lot of fun shooting. You got to experience some new guns and do some bucket list items.
Yes. Checked out a lot of things.
Yeah.
Big things.
Big things.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, Sarah, you got your start actually on TikTok, right?
I did. Yeah. The coveted TikTok. Yeah, so I started, what is this, like 2 years ago, I guess now? I started on TikTok. I have basically no background in guns. I actually had no interest in them whatsoever. My husband, he grew up around them, but only in the hunting field. So he has a background in, I guess, long guns, but not pistols as much. And we decided that we were going to get a self-defense pistol for our house, and I had no idea what to do with it, or I didn't even want to look at it. Like, I was like, I don't even want this. And I was not against them, but I just didn't care, really. And then I guess I have in the past had issues with, like, catastrophizing things, situational anxiety, that kind of stuff, big crowds, movie theaters, like anything that would pop up on the news, which I no longer pay attention to.
Good choice.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. So anything that was on the news, like, immediately nervous. And I grew up with that pretty much. My mom, if she listens to this, which I don't know if she will. She probably will because I'm on it. But
it's okay. No offense.
Sorry, Mom.
That's the only reason.
I love you. So she was always in the mindset of, I would rather you be scared than dead. So she would talk to me like I was an adult and as a small child, and be like, if you go out of my eyesight, somebody could take you. Like, just immediately, like, somebody could take you. If I can't see you, like, something bad could happen, like stranger danger, all that funky junk. And so I grew up with that mindset always. And I always wanted some way to have self-reliance, and I just didn't know what that was. So as I got older, I kind of got into the guns, I guess, because my dad took me to the range, but I never actually thought about, like, I'm going to get my CCW, I'm going to go forward with this, until probably in my early 20s. And then I got married, we got a house, and then we moved into, like, our apartment, and then we wanted to get the self-defense pistol. My husband and I talked it through. And so I decided that I was going to not be afraid of this thing. I was going to pick it up. I was going to figure out, not at that time, but I was going to be able to pick it up and move it if I needed to move it. God forbid, use it if I had to. I needed to figure out how to use it.
Be responsible.
Yeah,
essentially.
Pretty much. So I told him, I was like, hey, I want to learn this. Can you teach me? My dad took me to the range when I was in my teens, but I didn't really have any experience. So he was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll teach you. He took me to the range, and I immediately fell in love with it. Like, just the entire industry just, like, came down and was like, you need this, you love this. And so I did a little bit more research, And I decided, we kind of decided together that we were going to do our CCW class. Or however you want to say it, CHP,
Whatever.
LTC, whatever it is, your concealed carry. We were going to do our concealed carry class together, and he wanted his concealed carry so that he could purchase more than one gun a month. But I was like, let's do this together. We have time. We've thought about it. Like, let's just do it. I've thought about it for a while. I never actually like put it into motion. And then after he took me to the range, I was like, screw it, let's do it. So we did it, and then I was like, I'm gonna go for it. Like, I'm going to figure this out. This seems like something that I need to do. Seems like something I've always wanted to do, just didn't know about it. So I started researching, and come to find out there were no women that were just normal people. There was like one or two that I saw that I kind of latched onto on YouTube and Instagram, but there was like basically it was all competitive shooters or law enforcement, which is really, really hard to relate to as just like a normal person. None of it mattered to me, like what they were doing. It just didn't fit my vibe. So when I latched on to these one or two people, and I won't say who they are because I don't necessarily agree with what they do now, but when I latched on to these one or two people, I started ordering all the stuff that they were recommending.
So you were influenced by influence.
I was going to say,
Yes,
literally beat you
I
to
was influenced. And even she, though, was an instructor. Her boyfriend, I guess at the time, was an instructor. But she was still doing things that were somewhat relatable to me that I could see myself doing. So I ordered all these things, and I'm not going to say brands unless you want me to.
No, hey, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whatever you're comfortable with, especially if you like them.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like them. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
if you
up
want me
to
to say brands, but I will say what they are, and everyone can decipher. So corset holster, thigh holster,
Bra holster.
bra holster,
Bolster.
yeah,
Bolster.
bra holster, all these random ass things that I was like, this looks great. Like, she's doing it well. Sure. And so I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I'll come back to that. So I ordered all this shit, right? And then I've always I'm not am I a millennial? I'm not Gen Z. I guess I am a millennial.
Yeah,
but
well, you're
sounds,
you're late 20s now, right?
Yeah, I'm 29.
Yeah, we're millennials.
Yeah. So this
Even
sounds
me.
very. This sounds very Gen Z of me, I guess, or maybe millennial. Very Gen Z of me, but I wanted to be an influencer. I wanted the free shit. Honestly, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do the unboxing videos. Like, that was the coolest thing. People getting like PR boxes and unboxing them on camera and like showing.
They're so
it.
much fun to watch, right?
They
really are.
They actually are. And like, there's no shade to any of those people because obviously I do it now. But I wanted that. I never had anything cool to unbox or open. It was just Amazon packages or some stupid shit. So when I got these holsters in, I don't know what made me do it, but I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna put it on the internet.
Yeah.
And
of course, why not?
I'm gonna be a TikToker. And so I decided I was gonna unbox these videos or unbox these things on video and put it on TikTok and get my like 3 shares and move on with my life. And
I'm
then
imagining just dancing videos and then unboxing. And then with firearms, and then it's like dancing videos.
pretty much.
You can unbox while dancing.
I have never
See?
entered that stage of TikTok. You should try it out though, Kaya.
I would love to.
Tell me how it goes.
Just let's do it over here.
No, that's not going to be sponsored
If
by
you let me
Classic.
unbox a Barrett 50 BMG, I will dance with just underwear on.
And that's how we lose our 1 million subscribers.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I did not come up with this.
Who asked for this?
I guess.
I'm sorry, keep going.
Here comes the comment section. Here it comes. Great. Thanks, Sarah.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. don't blame me, guys. Okay. Anyway, I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so I got my Corsa holster in, and that was my very first holster. And holster is a very like
Loose term.
loose term. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a holster. It's a holding device. So I got that in, and I was like, this is cool. So I put it on, and there was a 3-part unboxing because I couldn't figure out how to do it in under 60 seconds for some reason. It was a fucking long video. And so I threw it up on TikTok, and then I got another holster in, threw that one up on TikTok, and then it like within a couple weeks it was blowing up. This was before TikTok got any kind of
Policies
yeah. Or like kind of caught on to what it was that I was talking about, I guess. I don't know.
The Wild West of TikTok.
Yeah,
Right.
I was in some really small niche that hadn't been hit yet and hadn't been discovered. And so when I did, and I don't want to say like it went like viral, like I'd never went viral. It was, but and I only capped out at like 85,000. Like it was never millions or whatever. I'm not that cool. Actually, I think TikTok wouldn't let me go that high. But so I started turning out videos over and over again, and it started blowing up and blowing up. And then I'm an all or nothing kind of person. And I'm like, if I can make a business out of anything, I'm gonna make a business out of it.
Do it.
Whether it works or not, I'm like, I got a name. I got a logo. I got like literally within like a day, I was like, I got a name, I got a logo, I got an Instagram, I got merch. I'm like,
You went full send.
full sent it
Yes.
for no fucking reason. Absolutely no reason. I full sent it. Because I was like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm an influencer. And my measly, like probably 25,000 at that point. And measly is like, I mean, it's not, but it is. Like for
we get
TikTok,
it. Yeah.
TikTok, you can hit 1 million for just like showing your dog. Like it doesn't, you don't have to do much.
This dog.
This dog, this my dog.
It barks.
He got the dog in him.
You got that puppy in him.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I full sent it, and then I actually didn't even know what I wanted to do with it at that point, but I somehow subconsciously realized like I was doing something. I was showing people, I was being the person that I was looking for when I was looking for somebody to relate to, which was just me being myself. Like I wasn't trying to do anything other than that.
Yeah.
And then it just progressively got more and more and more, and turned into what it is now, which is really not that big. But I've had a lot of opportunities and a lot more things. I'm here with you guys. I've had a lot of opportunities come up. I get my free shit, which I still love. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got around to where I am now.
So explain exactly what it is that you are offering and what you're doing, because we might have some listeners here that might be interested, or I mean, because you're bringing in a different demographic too, because like you said in one of our videos, is like, hey, you know, I'm a dude talking about guns and stuff. I talk about from my perspective as a male, how I like to carry firearms, things like that. And for instance, you and I, we have a difference of views on like me, like, hey, I don't mind, you know, like I am consciously aware that maybe my grip when I appendix carry prints just a little bit, but I'm also very aware that I'm going to say 95% of everybody out there probably wouldn't even know. First of all, they're definitely not going to recognize it's a gun. Secondly, they're not even going to recognize there's an object there. And thirdly, if they do, they're probably going to think, oh, okay, he probably just has, I don't know, diabetes or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I'm just throwing it out there. So whatever. It's not like that big of a deal, you know?
Yeah.
But again, I'm coming from that perspective, again, as a guy.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, one of the videos we made fun of, you know, I'm coming over here like, hey, top firearm choices for men and women. And it's kind of like, oh, you're going to speak for women, you know? And it's like, okay, so enter the chat. Why don't you? So, yeah, just explain a little bit to, you know, our audience exactly, you know, what it is that you are bringing to the table. Because, yeah, the holster unboxings, things like that's cool. The core set, obviously, that was something that you tried. And you weren't a fan of. Yeah. So I mean, obviously for women.
Yeah. So what it's kind of turned into is me, I don't want to say I'm teaching people because I mean, I guess I am, but in a way, I'm teaching people, women, mostly specifically women, how to conceal carry in an everyday lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like literally just, I don't wear, so I see it more and more now, people trying to wear these like outlandish outfits of like trying to conceal and literally whatever they can. And I appreciate that. But I also think there's a line, like if you can't do it and you can't access it properly, then you probably shouldn't do it. But that's another topic. But yeah, so I'm basically just living my life and explaining to people on how I do that without sacrificing my style and my life. And you can still do it. Like you can still carry in normal everyday clothes without having to feel like you have to go and buy an entirely new wardrobe.
Right.
Or you have to, I mean, I wear baggy stuff all the time, but you don't have to wear baggy stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear these, crazy outfits or be a gray man. I mean, I was told once that the best gray man is a woman. So I kind of roll with that.
Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to put out there that like you can conceal and you can live your life and you don't have to change a whole lot. And it's not scary. That was also the biggest thing for me too, is it is an incredibly intimidating industry to get into. And it doesn't have to be. At all. Like it is scary. It is predominantly men. It's changing more and more every day on the ratio, but it'll still continuously be majority men. That's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, but there are people like you, I think, extremely important because people want relatability. Like you want to relate to the person that you're watching. So if I show something or somebody who's much higher skilled than I am, and they're showing all these cool things, well, your average Joe is going to be really intimidated by that. You're not going to be exactly. So, and more women are coming to space every day. So people like you are actually encouraging those women to come, not some really high skilled guy or even gal. They want to relate to people like you, just an everyday person.
Like my wife. That was
Shout out Nicole.
Exactly.
Shout out Nicole.
Which is exactly the reason why we're here today. Because it was the Gundys. What year is this? 2022, right?
2022.
That we first all met.
Yeah, 2022.
Yep. And that was just so funny because Ryan was like, "Hey, my wife's a big fan. Can we get a picture?" And you were just like, "What? Oh my God, this has never happened before." It was super cool. And look at us now. But no, getting back to Kaya's point too is exactly what you were saying, Sarah. Was that you were trying to find a solution out there, like, hey, I do want to carry a gun. I do want to exercise my Second Amendment right. I want to be able to protect myself against the evil that naturally exists out in the world. Yeah. And when you went on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it may have been, you didn't really find a whole lot that really fit that what you were looking for, that solution. Yeah. So you took it upon yourself, took the initiative there to actually like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I don't have a military background. I don't have a law enforcement background. I have the background of being a woman that wants to exercise her Second Amendment right. And you went from not knowing much about firearms. And then, like for instance, we did a couple of drills yesterday. And you said that a lot of your practice is dry fire, right?
I mean, I don't have... I have range access. My range is currently closing to the public. So my next range that I'm going to go to is like an hour and some change away. Yeah. So I don't have... constant range access. I don't live in an area where I can just walk out and, shoot my gun and train. So I have to dry fire a lot. Yeah.
Which I think is awesome. There's one guy, I can't remember his channel name or anything like that, but he disagrees with me so hard about dry fire. He's like, if you got the rounds, just go shoot them. I'm like, look, listen.
This is expensive. Guys, this is expensive.
Yeah, so there's that, but on top of that, it translated very well. You are the epitome of, hey, practice at home, practice in your living room, practice. And it translated very, very well because you said, hey, you didn't actually run these types of drills with live rounds before, striking a target, moving back, stuff like that. And dude, it was impressive. Honestly, you did great because you were able to, because you said you did more of that claw grab of the shirt. I learned some things because I always kind of like came from underneath the shirt. And I think it's happened like twice now on video where my sights have snug because what I do is I get so focused on, all right, what's my next move that I'm kind of forgetting about, again, this isn't even in a defensive situation. This is just on a target in
Yeah.
front of me, right? This target isn't trying to advance on me, isn't trying to kill me, right? And I'm over here already snagging my sights. And then she said, well, why don't you just grab from like up here closer to your chest and rip that thing up? And it's like, well, because I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, I'll start to do that. But I kept also thinking too, if I grab the bottom of my t-shirt and pull up, then cool, I'm actually giving myself more clearance. Like, no, just do that claw grab that you talked about, rip
Yeah.
up, and now all of a sudden you're good.
You don't have to find the bottom of your shirt.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, all right.
Grab the
First time I
line
ever
of
saw
smart.
that was Trevor from Shadow Systems when he came.
Oh, yeah, that's
Trevor
right, yeah.
was really good. Yeah, and he
Dude, that
knew a lot
elbow
about concealed
got
carry.
up there.
Yes, and he grabbed it from the center, and he said that too. He said, I can't find the bottom sometimes, precisely grab it. Just grab your shirt somewhere in the center and throw it up.
Yep.
And he,
be
it was like,
aggressive.
he was trying to
Gotta be
work
aggressive.
out,
Yeah,
like
like-
how high his elbows were
Stick
going.
that hand out of the way.
Yeah, I
and-
mean, if he's walking with his significant other, whatever, I mean, she's getting an elbow
Yeah,
in the face.
but
hey,
Or the second bad
Whatever
guy
gets
coming
out.
from behind.
That's
Yeah.
it. Right, yeah.
keep
that's a
throwing
good
them.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It seems like an episode of the Pink Panther or something like that. Seem like that
Knock
happening.
people out.
Hey, always remember, if there's one gun, there could be two.
That's
If there's
true.
two, there could be three. If there's one bad guy, there could be two.
Yeah.
That Walmart shooting incident where the CCW guy
Mm-hmm.
engaged
yeah,
the guy.
yeah.
Remember? There could always be more.
Right, so that's true. But no, so it's really cool that you got into this. And at first, TikTok was receiving it. And then all of a sudden it was like, no.
Yeah, it became nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So TikTok is really easy, like I said, to grow on if
Yeah.
you hit a niche and then all of a sudden that like one or two videos go viral and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden you're at like, however many thousands, hundreds of thousands of people following you. That's if you hit the right sweet spot. And then if they, for some reason, find out that you're posting anything that somewhat maybe somewhere disagrees with their policy, then they shut you down.
Well, the Chinese government doesn't want American citizens knowing how to defend themselves.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's crazy to think
The
about.
TikTok guidelines, like we talked about in the past, but again, if you have a TikTok, then you agree TikTok to completely and utterly spy on your phone, like
get that.
keystrokes and
Yeah.
everything. Like it has access to all your photos, all your videos. Again, keystrokes.
Yeah.
It's ironic
your
that this is
apps.
coming from a former FBI agent.
Right?
That's why. Okay,
He's
let's
got
just talk about
fucking
this.
cameras
Speaking of
everywhere
it,
in
Let's
this
just talk
building.
about this in all seriousness. Like, dude,
Are you watching, everyone in this building?
not anymore. I'm just an average Joe. But no, in all seriousness, like these apps, they spy on you, man. They really do, and especially if it's an American company.
Well, if they had given me a
Then
little more time, they would have a lot more
you-
information.
You get, well,
Just saying.
there's a lot can be collected on you,
Yeah.
so be careful.
Yeah. So TikTok shut me down pretty much. It became nearly impossible. I got super, super shadow banned.
Yeah.
I was going from, and like my views are not that great, guys. Like it's not that crazy. But like averaging like 25, 30,000 views on a video to less than 1,000. Like
Oh,
just
wow.
detrimental,
Yeah.
like crash and burn. Like didn't even matter if it wasn't even about guns. Like everything I posted.
Yeah.
I tried the whole like, give it a break and post pictures like things of your dog, go with the trends, like do whatever it is. Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Because you're associated at that
I know.
moment.
I just recently got the account warning off of my TikTok from like a
Yeah, you
year
put it up
ago.
yesterday. You're like, look, I
Yeah.
bet I'll still get the warning. You're like, oh, wait.
Yeah, I just recently got. I'm not gonna be on TikTok anymore.
Yeah.
I've already decided. Like with the account warning coming up, I was like, maybe I'll pick it up again. And I'm like, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I can't show anything.
Just go out
can't
with a
do anything.
bang and just post something. So let's do
Yeah.
it together.
Like
and just
the
let it bang.
Like
50
a
cal mag dump?
cal.
That's
Yeah,
right. Let's
50
just
cal
go out with a
mag
bang.
dump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make a video and post it on there.
Yeah.
There you go, dude.
Yeah, so I pretty much gave up on that.
Yeah.
And I'm strictly on Instagram, and then now my next goal is to be more on YouTube. YouTube is a big old beast.
Oh, yeah.
So
Do you have a YouTube channel right now?
Yeah.
It's
The Peace of Mind.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, no underscore, just Peace of Mind.
There it is.
I need to fight whoever it is that has the Peace of Mind, no underscore, on Instagram. I don't know how to
Like a cage match, like you
like
and
to the
them.
death.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Winner gets the username.
Yeah, I'm coming
Just
for
give
you.
that person your TikTok account and then
Yeah.
trade.
Trade.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
Trade.
You want this? Yeah, I'm coming for you, whoever it is. Yeah. And I had a website. I went through all the merch, had all that stuff. I was making merch. Then it just became too much. I moved. So I still have shirts and stuff up there, but yeah, mostly YouTube. And Instagram is where most of my content is.
Gotcha. Well, it's super informative.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I mean, there's, you know, even, you know, like some of my women family members and stuff like that. Since I've been an advocate, obviously, for concealed carry, for just carry a damn gun. You know what I mean? So a lot of the women in my life are just like, okay, cool, let's get into that. And then, you know, again, shout out to Nicole. She's, you know, it's kind of like, so
she's in the room, by the way, for those of you that can't see that.
And, you know, a lot of them are kind of like, so, yeah, so what do you recommend? I was like, you can take my word for it, or follow Sarah.
Here I am.
You know, and which is really cool. And then, of course, there's, you know, like you said, the competitive shooters, things like that. It's still a really cool thing to follow, like Lena Michulek.
Oh, definitely.
You know, like, I mean, these are wonderful people that are doing an excellent job at also, too, getting women more involved with the two-way mindset, right?
Yeah. Like, if you want technical stuff, like, if you want, like, technical stuff, definitely follow those peeps.
And you recently actually did a training with her?
No. So I met Lena at the Gundies.
That's okay. Right.
Yeah, I met Lena at the Gundies, and then I got the Rose, which comes with the training videos.
Oh, that's okay. Got it. I didn't know it came with the
It's
videos
like
too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You get like a link, like a QR code, and then she has like online training that she teaches, which is a great like beginner platform for women. Teaches
cool.
fundamentals, which
Did
is
it
great.
came with like a safety box?
Yeah, it comes with a Voltec,
Voltec, nice.
Voltec Safe, which is TSA compliant.
Is it the fingerprint one? I can't remember. Or is it the
I
code?
don't think so. I think it's just the code.
Gotcha. Cool. Which is super cool. But
yeah.
it all comes in this package too.
Yeah.
It comes with the
It
Snapcats.
literally feels like you're getting a PR package, which is so cool.
Yeah, and I mean it's a beautiful display. You know, I've seen it in person too. You know, shout out to Sig when they gave me a little bit of a tour. I see the complete display, which is really cool. The box itself is all like gorgeous with the rose and all that. So for those of you that don't know, Lena partnered with Sig Sauer, made the Rose pistol, the Sig P365, and all of its different variations. There's the 380, there's the 9mm, there's the compensated compensated slide.
I don't think it's all in the variations. I think it's just the XL and the 380.
Well, I've seen a lot. All right. Either way,
I mean, Sig makes all those.
Yeah, Sig does make all those. But as far as the Rose goes, gotcha. All right. Well, again, you know, she's the one that's actually got experience with it, so I'll let her talk to it. But at the end of the day, I think it's just really cool that Lena did that. You know,
yeah.
And again, she's obviously the daughter of Jerry Michulek, which is a very famous shooter, by the way, super fast. And again, just getting women more involved to it, because again, I mean, the 2A, as is all of the rights, should be equally applied. There is no one demographic that is more equal to the other when it comes to the constitutional rights. So yeah, get out there. Don't be afraid to exercise these rights. And so it's cool to have people like yourself too that are also welcoming more and more, and then also offering solutions. So with that being said, you've mentioned to me that you've been able to carry with like a skirt, dress, regular pants. You even taught me the French tuck.
Oh yeah,
What's a French tuck?
You don't know this?
No.
Come on, Mr. Influencer. You are the king. Oh, you know that.
I really don't.
Turkish tuck.
Turkish tuck.
That's
This is
different.
the Turkish
like
tuck.
You're just gonna tuck it back. What?
No, dude, but you broke me. Hold on. Tuck what?
This is the Turkish tuck.
I love this team.
No, so
better alliteration.
Yeah. So it's a style, right, where you tuck in the front of your shirt. And what she said was, depending on how you carry, which again for the Phil Store
Oh,
Enigma,
we're talking about a different kind of tuck. Okay.
What
Welcome back, Kaya.
You get it.
We were
Ryan
all
is
there.
dying.
We were all there.
We were all there, but we really went there.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. All right. So anyway, you
anyway.
tuck in the front of your shirt, right? And depending on how you carry, it actually will cover up, like if you're printing a little bit, because it's more bunched together up front. So it's just
So that you were showing that yesterday. So that's
Creates
French
pocket.
tuck.
French tuck.
Got it.
Yeah.
When you do it, it's the Turkish tuck.
I can't do that because my shirts are too tight.
That is true. Look at that damn thing.
I don't even know how he tries to conceal anything, honestly.
I don't have to conceal any. It's
What do you, all right. What did we get
because
at?
you're a former FBI
There we go. I knew
agent?
that was
Oh,
coming. I was like, I can't conceal these. There it was.
I'm joking. Just joking.
I'm breaking the fourth wall here. If you're listening and not watching, I looked right at the camera like, are you
Get some office looks in there.
Yeah, some office looks in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so little things like that though can actually go pretty far. Now,
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to spoil a lot of the videos that we've done and all that type of stuff, but you've made mention of small things like that actually kind of like, okay, cool. I'm not exactly a stylish individual, but that is also one of the things that's kind of like, if that's a solution for you, bam, there you have it.
Yeah, I try to be as open as possible. Again, it's an intimidating industry. Like you can't really go and ask people questions about these things. So I have my space open to those types of questions. I've gotten like, oh, this is kind of an awkward question, but how do you pee in that?
Dude, I saw. I think it was like a post. I can't remember where it was, but you're like. Here's how I do it.
Here's all of the holsters and how you use the bathroom.
Yeah. Again, guys, that's
you don't think about it, nor do you care.
Yeah, honestly. I mean,
Why would you care?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my biggest goal now is to make it relatable in a way that opens up the door for other women and even men who are intimidated by it.
Yeah.
And it is scary, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
So I want it to be like, hey, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time. And that's okay. I do it safely. As long as you have the fundamentals of the safety, be open to trying new things and don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of being bad.
Right.
Because again, the competitive shooters, we all think we have to be like that, which is great, but it's not a self-defense world. Yeah. It's not a normal self-defense world.
It takes a community, and that's what I appreciate about your channel.
Yeah.
Is that it takes some people for self-defense, right, and your side, everyday carry. It takes the competitive side, Lena Mikulek, and she, I think, also crosses over into the lifestyle side, and we appreciate that. And then there's the tactical side as well, and some women go that way. But you can't do it all.
Right.
Right. And some people try to, sure.
Yeah.
But
why'd you look at me?
What's more effective?
Come on, Clint.
Perfect target.
You said it, not me. No, but you can't do it all. And having a certain area and then really honing in that area, I think can affect more people than just trying to throw darts at a board and try to do it all.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about your channel.
You know what? This intimidation thing, something just came to mind perfectly applicable to this. When I was going through the firearm instructor school to become a firearm instructor in the Bureau, I didn't know this, and the instructor that was instructing us told us that when you have a new shooter, like believe it or not, in the Bureau or the police departments, there are shooters, just because they're cops or agents doesn't mean they're actually amazing.
Yeah.
They're also very basic as well.
Same goes for military.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I was a firearms instructor before that too, and I would show people like, I'm an all right shot, and I would just drill from 10 yards, let's say, a decent group, and the person next to me that I'm teaching, they're not good at all. They're just trying to learn. So that right there, I'm just like intimidating them big time because I'm just showing them something that they can't imagine achieving at that time. At that point,
Kaya.
yeah. So no, this is literally like hold on. So in the Bureau, same thing. We're doing that thing, and we're like drilling these holes. And the guy's like, when you're teaching somebody and the person is just like spraying all over the place, they're having a hard time qualifying, and you grab their gun and you just shoot.
Yeah.
And
I've had that happen.
Score, and
then you're like, oh, it's me. I suck. Okay.
yeah, and then you're
help.
like,
It's not the gun.
but you're expecting to be like, well, I have to be like that.
Yeah.
But you're so far off at that point, and that just throws you off psychologically. I never thought of that before.
There's also a fine line I think you want to walk too,
Yeah.
because I would also, I guess it depends on the level of progression in which you're at, because now I want somebody, if they're teaching me, I want them to be that guy.
You want, but
but initially I understand where you're coming from, where it could be that intimidation factor.
Well, you want
know what I mean?
confidence, and they're teaching you.
Yes.
You have somewhere to go up. So that, I get that, but and also you don't have to be taught by women. Don't have to be taught by women.
Yeah.
But being taught by a man, it just feels different. Like it's just
mansplaining. Is that what you're gonna say?
I'm not going to say that. I wasn't. I am now.
There you go.
Hey, Kaya, there's some water that you're stepping into right now. You might want to step out of it.
Oh, I see.
he was like, what's leaking?
No, I thought about that cable again. That's what he was talking about.
Yeah, please don't unplug
right.
that. We will lose all of this.
Let me get out of this waters. Go ahead, please.
I forgot where I was. Anyway, yeah. So
men teaching female.
Yeah. So men teaching. You don't have to. I mean, I've been taught. I've actually not. I don't know why I have decided not to be taught by a woman. That's interesting to unpack. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't want to be taught by a woman, but you just don't have to be taught by a woman in order to do things as a woman. But you do need to kind of take what people teach you with a grain of salt too, and because I've been taught by law enforcement.
Oh yeah.
And by saying I'm being taught by law enforcement, it's not like I have qualifications for anything. It's just like those instructors have that background. So I always ask too what your background is.
That is smart.
Yeah, because going into it, I kind of have an idea of, they're going to teach me. Well, a good example is I asked one of the instructors that I did a one-on-one with, like what his background was. And he was an older man. He was probably in his like 60s or so. And when he was teaching me, I was like, okay, cool. Can you teach me how to draw from a holster? And he was like, sure. And he proceeds to talk to me about hip carry. And I was like, okay, but I don't hip carry. I appendix carry. And he's like, well, I don't have a whole lot of experience with appendix carry. He didn't actually outright say that, but I could just tell he was not comfortable in teaching me the ways that I had been taught prior to online by other people who do only appendix carry.
See, I was going to say that I respect him if he actually said that.
No.
Hey, this isn't my cup of tea. This isn't my
See,
area.
I wish he did, but
Yeah.
I already knew when he started talking to me about that, and like, I don't want to say his age, but I think that had a play in it too.
Yeah.
Not to say anyone who's in their 60s is only side carrying or whatever, or small back or whatever it is. But he basically told me like he only side carries. He doesn't appendix carry.
Appendix carry is pretty new.
I was going to say.
Is it?
That's what I was saying too.
To me, that's all I watch. So that's everything.
I mean, it's a good practical application for carrying. Honestly,
Absolutely.
you know.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so I pay attention to who, like, kind of vet those people before you learn from them. Because if you have an NRA instructor, they know different things. If you get taught by law enforcement, they have a background in different things, and they're not just all going off the same platform. They're not all reading off the same script. They're going to teach you what they know.
Yeah.
Law enforcement, military knows wildly different things. It's just regular old civilians. We all know something different too. Those people obviously can't teach, but like instruct. But
so it is an interesting thing, and we can go back a little bit too, because like the women that have been comfortable with me teaching them have literally been like lifelong friends.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I trust you. Like, okay. But, I have yet to have one woman in my DMs being like, hey, I would love teach me. Yeah, and it's kind of like, okay, well, that makes sense. Dudes all day. Like, bro, do you have advice to this, advice for that type of stuff? You know what I mean? And then it's cool that you brought up like the different backgrounds, because military and law enforcement, vastly going to be different also. And you've also think about too, like, hey, what I was taught in the military was buddy rushes and assaulting a target. Yeah. That's not the same thing as, hey, create distance and then draw your pistol and, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Law enforcement, a lot of team tactics, things like that as well. Same thing as military, but applied differently. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, we were at the range, God, this was a couple of years ago when we first started doing range videos, and I'll never forget. We set up one of our targets, and a guy that was there with his wife or girlfriend or significant other, and
This is a good one.
Yeah, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I've never shot still before? Do you mind if I do that?" I'm kind of like, "Yeah, dude, I mean, it's fine, whatever, And let's don't shoot it with like a 20-inch 5.56 for 10 feet away. That's probably not a good idea." And he's like, "No, I just got pistols and shotgun." I'm like, "Okay, all right, that's cool." He didn't use the shotgun on the still target either. That would have been kind of weird too. But yeah, he's like, "I just got a couple pistols." And like, "Yeah, cool, man." I was like, "Do you mind if I ask her, like, are you like teaching her?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I was in the military." And I'm like, "So?" I was like, where we go with this? Because at that point, I had already seen him start to shoot. And I was like, oh, Lord.
Oh.
Yeah. There were some unsafe practices being done and everything. Yeah, I was in the Air Force for like 10 years. I'm like, I mean, that's great. Thanks for your service, bro. First of all, was that 30, 40 years ago? And secondly, were you a firearms instructor in the
Yeah.
Air Force? Obviously not, right? So again, and I've said this on video, just because somebody says, oh, hey, I was law enforcement, hey, I was military, hey, I was a competitive shooter even, just because you might even be able to shoot well doesn't mean you can teach well either.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
that
know,
is
so-
straight up. Very good point.
Yeah, you know?
Just because you can shoot well doesn't mean you can. Teaching is a completely different skill.
Yeah, so
Also,
just be careful with that
ladies,
stuff.
try not to get taught by your significant other.
Yeah, it's, dude.
It can create some tension.
Is there?
I've seen that go downhill fast.
Yeah.
For
Oh, boy.
real, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, kudos to them if they know what they're doing, but also, I've seen a lot of shit go down that should not be taught.
Again, it's those relationships,
Yeah.
right? It's those relationships you have in your head, like, oh, okay, yeah. And then the big thing is, it's the guy's ego.
Yeah.
The guy's ego,
Truly.
you know, that he's in there and he's like, look, babe, here's how you do it, okay?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get out there and she's now even more intimidated than she would
Yeah.
if it was a stranger,
Yeah.
you know? And then it's, you know, like, why can't you just hit the target, you know?
Yeah. You've seen those big ass revolver videos
Oh,
that
Lord.
first gun, here you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Dude, and that is the quickest way to turn somebody off.
Correct.
I mean, that is the
Yeah.
quickest way to say,
Yeah.
nope, last time I shot a gun. And I've talked to people, older women,
Yeah.
that have said, first time I shot a gun was a 12 gauge when I was 14 years old. My dad just handed it to me and laughed at me, and I never picked up a gun ever since.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you don't want to scare somebody away from, especially you. This is a tool that would be utilized to save their life.
Right.
And let's say that they were put in a situation where if they had the gun, and they could have survived that encounter. They chose not to because somebody scared them out of it at the very first time they went to the range.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
pretty shitty.
I took my ex like 10, 11 years ago to an indoor range, and she had never shot a gun.
Those
Never
are
even.
scary as it is.
Yeah. So we go to an indoor range, and there are multiple lanes. They're all full. There's a range master, this old man standing there with a revolver on his hip.
no.
And
Was
In
his
a
name
leather-
Elmer?
In a leather holster.
Leather
so,
holster.
so she goes in, and we go in, and we're gonna shoot, and all these explosions, right? A 9mm sounds like a 308 in there, like it's crazy. And she just couldn't stand, like she would just jump every time
Yeah.
somebody would shoot. And she just
Scary.
I was like, take it easy, it's okay, whatever. And she just couldn't relax. Like she started freaking out, and she started to cry. I was like, okay, we're leaving. So,
Yeah.
and as we're leaving, the old man started making
had that
fun of
happen.
her.
Making fun of
Yeah,
her?
he literally, he's just like, come on, it's not that bad, you know, it's guns, you're good.
Just
Like,
guns.
So this
And
guy's trying to act all macho, like,
Yeah.
come on, little girl, you know,
Yeah.
look at me, I can do it. You know, like, dude, just get the hell out of here.
That's
man.
exactly
That
right.
shit's messed up.
And
Meanwhile,
I-
he has tinnitus. And
Yeah.
he can't hear anything.
Right.
It's like,
Okay,
oh,
all right,
you're
all
part-
right.
no, I've heard
Okay, wait a minute. Triggered.
oh,
Okay,
oh, I'm
all
sorry.
right.
Did I affect your group? Your tinnitus little group that you get together on
Hey,
Wednesdays with?
hey, you know what? I can say right now, if everybody stopped talking. Yeah, I can't hear right now. But
There's-
anyway,
I was going to say, there's a ring.
there's a ring in the air.
No, I didn't know, like, that was right before I became a police officer. I just had one handgun, and I was kind of like training myself a little bit. And we like walked out, and I was with her for about 4 years, and she never touched a gun.
Yeah.
Like she would never go with me anywhere to any shooting range again.
Indoor ranges are rough.
Yeah.
Very
uh,
rough, yeah.
You know, they and there are some that do a really, really good job at making like almost individual bays per shooter,
Yeah.
which is cool, but also presents a problem in and of itself because now you've actually got even closer quarters that sound reverberates. So the biggest answer to this is if you can find an outdoor range,
Yeah.
or if
it's
just
wildly different. I shot at the outdoor range for the first time.
yeah. Well, you've been to like different events, like the Gundies, and you
Yeah,
got to shoot
but
there,
again-
but actually running and
Yeah.
like where we were
But at the
Take Aim.
Gundies, it's all like full auto all day long. So you're still getting
Yeah.
the
for
sound.
Yeah, I mean, all of us here at this table, we love that, but at the
Yes.
same time,
Oh,
if
yeah,
you're trying
obviously.
but if we're trying to introduce somebody to it,
Could be intimidating.
It
Very
was
intimidating.
way more comfortable. Like
Yeah.
I could just be up at the target and like you're talking to me, I can hear you. I can take my ear pro off
Yeah.
until we're ready.
Yep.
And it's just way, way, way more comfortable than being next to somebody who's shooting the wrong caliber in the wrong lane.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now too. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this plug in there. Make sure you're supporting organizations like Firearms Policy Coalition and Gun Owners of America because there's something that we should do, and that's repeal the NFA, the National Firearms Act. So that way everybody could just own silencers willy nilly,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden it's going to become a lot more peaceful.
Yeah.
I had a really good friend of mine. She wanted to shoot for the first time, and I said, "We're going to shoot my Daniel Defense Mark 12 suppressed, the softest, funnest gun I own. I love shooting that gun." And every one of my new shooter friends that come out to the ranges and they say that is it. Yeah. And I put the Surefire RC2 on it, and if it was a Huxworks to flow through, because they all say like, oh, I got a little bit of gas back. You know, it's like, well, it's a Danny Defense.
This is going way over my head, guys.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry.
All those names.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay. You'll learn, and that's the entire point of all of this anyway, for people to learn all about this. But hey, it's a longer rifle, a lot of fun. Imagine an AR on steroids a little bit, still 5.56, and it shoots wonderfully well. Light recoiling, and again, everybody's like, "Oh, it's quiet," like because that's the first thing everybody does when they get up there. I swear, every person I introduce to shooting, their first shot, they're anticipating that recoil, they're bouncing all over the place. It's always a miss, and then they're like, "Oh, it's not that bad." That's what they say at an outdoor range. At an indoor range, their second and third shots are the exact same way because they're sitting over there like, God, they're expecting that reverb and everything
plus
else.
Other people shooting too. Like you're aiming, and then, you're like, man.
Especially
or
when
you're looking at the guy next to you and you're like, that guy's real good.
Especially when that asshole brings in the 7.5-inch AR with a muzzle brake.
Yeah.
Oh
or the AK
That's
with
what I'm
muzzle
saying.
brake. Yeah.
In the 25-yard range there's where everyone's just trying to shoot their pistols and move on with life, and he's every 3 seconds.
You literally watch the glass like flex every time he So, you know, one thing that is cool, and I'll say, you know, I went to a local range recently, and I was teaching an older gentleman how to shoot. And it was an indoor range, and it was really cool because they're like, "Oh, hey, you're Clint from class. We'll give you your own bay, like whole range." I was like,
"Oh, nice."
I was like,
that's fun.
I was like, that is fun. I was like, this is the first time this guy's ever pulled the trigger on a gun, and he's 60 some odd years old. And I was like, that's okay. This is perfect. This is actually ideal. He said he really wanted to do it, and I was like, all right, family friend. And I said, okay, well, we can do that. And I was like, do you have a range nearby? And he said, yeah, there's this indoor range. I'm like, oh, shit. But we got there. So that part was really cool. Obviously, you know, Classic Firearms like really helped with that. But if you do have a good relationship with your local range, you know the hours in which they're not that busy, and you want to get somebody out there, or you just want to do some practice and training. Point Blank range here in Matthews, North Carolina, they do a really good job at like inviting people and doing like after hours things, and then with like a RSO, they'll allow you to go forward to the firing line and actually start running drills with you.
Nice.
And all they're there is just to supervise, just make sure everything's safe. Yeah. Right. But everybody else that they invite stays like in this nice little club area, and it's super cool, really chill. And then once it's your turn to shoot or whatever, you sign up for a class. They take you out there, so it's real low key. It's not a bunch of people just shooting their 7.5-inch ARs.
Yeah.
But if you can find them, a range outdoors, and especially new people.
Outdoors, man.
Yeah.
It's wildly different.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have changed a lot for me too if I had an outdoor range. And I'm probably going to use my father-in-law's house now because he has land. So
that's always fun too.
Yeah, I can just go outside and film whatever I want to. So I think that would have changed a lot for me too, and I wouldn't get so frustrated because I still get so frustrated, especially if I go by myself and I'm like, I don't want to be here, because it's just intimidating. So
and even still, be careful on the outdoor stuff like that. Make sure the people you're with are responsible. I've seen that Instagram video recently. This woman was shooting a pistol. You could tell for the first time, and then the guy right next to her just comes out and just pop, 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 and dude, she starts having like a seizure. She's thinking, she's looking at her gun and thinking something's going wrong. And I was like, well, that could have been a really unsafe thing really quickly, but she actually kept the gun pointed down range and things like that, but you could tell she was like trying to get away from the gun. And all this guy was doing was just like putting a gun almost next to her head, pulling the trigger. Like, geez, and dude.
If you see something,
say something.
Don't be afraid to speak up. Like truly, I've had to tell RSOs multiple times about stupid shit that people are pulling. And one guy, so at our range there's like a dead space where you walk in a door and then you shut the door and then you have to wait till the door shuts and all that stuff. I was about to go in the door, and I look through the window, and these fools are pulling out their guns in the dead space and swapping them with each other.
Oh God, flagging everything.
Just pulling them out, handing them. I was like, absolutely fucking not. And so I went to the RSO and I was like at the desk and I was like, look, these two fools are just pulling out their guns and doing stupid shit. And she was like, all right, where are they at? I was like, it's those two. Like, literally, don't be afraid to say something.
Yeah, the one time it's okay. Now, if you're going to like a Fed boy, that's when you don't say anything. But if you're going to an RSO, you say shit.
You don't have to say anything. We already know.
Oh man.
I forgot to text my FBI agent.
Yeah, right,
my phone
right.
this morning. Speaking of which,
And
No,
like-
you already did. You just don't know.
Dude, honestly, like another reason to, I'm glad you just reminded me. I would say my biggest reason not going to an indoor range, like a private, public, I don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't
At
control
all.
the people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've seen some.
It happens
dumb
everywhere.
shit.
You know, it really does. Though, I mean, dude, I'm not saying that where we go is unsafe or anything like that, but people do dumb stuff, and there's a literally 15-foot berm in front of them, and they pull out something they can't control. Next thing you know, rounds are going over that berm, and we hear impacts taking place next to us about 20 feet away, and we're like, I'm sorry, what the hell is that,
dude, remember the last time?
Oh, I drove up there, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's right, yeah. Me
And
and
he's
Ryan.
like, oh, I'm just playing with this, and I'm like, yeah,
First of all, we don't play.
Yeah, I was like, we don't play over here.
Well,
They had
kinda.
no targets.
No,
There were
you
no
had-
targets
you had
up.
the
They were just
18.
shooting into the berm. So, I mean, literally mag dumping into trash.
Glock 18.
yeah, the Glock 18.
So it's me and Ryan, Clint,
Yeah.
and we're just hearing these rounds going above us, right? Kind of like of the top of the trees
Yeah.
around there and hitting trees. We can hear them, and we're like, "Oh my god, what's going on?"
and I start to pack up.
Yeah,
And
that's-
Yeah, he started packing. And I'm over here kind of like, that sounds kind of cool. And I'm like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, I don't want to get
They
shot.
started to get close. So Ryan is walking, you know, the tree line to the right when you're facing
Mm-hmm.
downrange, and I literally look. A round comes in, hits the trees, and one of them hit the ground, like when the leaves came up, pretty close to Ryan. I'd say 15, 20 yards.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking it probably struck another because
and that went
then
down.
started to go
Yeah.
down or whatever. But yeah,
you
so I mean, I
imagine?
haul ass,
Yeah.
dude. I hop on my Firona and I take off, dude. And I come up to that range. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all need to like chill out really quick. And they said, well, what's going on? I'm like, we're at our exclusive range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, probably one of the reasons it's not open to the public, but but we're at an exclusive range over there, and it wasn't actually like landing. It was close, like it was within our vicinity, but it wasn't like where we're walking. You know what I mean?
No, it
but it was
wasn't.
in the
No.
woods
It was
still.
close enough.
It was in a
Yeah.
tree.
Close,
Close
yeah,
comfort.
but I'm just saying though, like it wasn't like we were taking like literal taking rounds, but at the same time, it was close enough to cause concern. And so I walk up there and I'm like, all right, look, dude, you gotta do something. Like
Yeah.
I was like, you see that little 15, 20-foot berm in front of me? He's like, yeah, those rounds when they go over the berm have to go somewhere. Be
Oh, yeah.
accountable for every single shot, and that needs to translate also to any other application, whether it be law enforcement, military, and also defensive. You got to be accountable for every single round that leaves that muzzle.
Yeah.
You know, so
You really do, man.
Yeah.
It's not, that's guns, carrying guns may be all cool and whatever, those newer
Yeah.
people. Lots of responsibilities.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up Stephen Williford again, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I love talking about that guy. Are you breaking stuff, Sarah?
Drop my phone.
What?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Okay. Well,
I'm just
everybody.
gonna leave it.
But I'm going to bring up Stephen Williford again, though, because talk about being accountable for every shot.
Yeah.
Man had 8 rounds in his AR.
Yeah.
Fired 6 of them. He didn't just mag dump it.
Um,
Or you know,
Target identification.
target identification, also shot placement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dude, for those of you that don't know, maybe you didn't listen to our podcast with Stephen, he's the one that stopped the Sutherland Springs, Texas church shooting. And he quickly grabbed his AR, grabbed a couple of rounds, loaded a mag up to only 8 rounds, fired 6 rounds at the killer.
Barefoot.
Yep, barefoot he did, responded to this, and all 6 rounds were hits.
Incredible.
All
What
6
was the
rounds.
distance? Do you know?
I don't. I think he mentions it. I'm like very confident he mentions it, but I just don't recall. I just remember him saying that his last round, I think, he couldn't identify where the guy was now in his car.
Yeah.
And he said, I could shoot through the door, but I don't know if that would actually have like a good impact. So he said, I took a shot where I could see the silhouette and I knew how an individual would sit in the car.
Yeah. So
I
you shot there.
So I shot, right through the glass, and it literally grazed the guy's brow. Still a hit. It's probably the one that finally okay, well, I can't see where I'm going now because I got blood coming down my face. And the guy eventually self-deleted. But at the end of it all, I was like, dude, that's pretty damn cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, being accountable for every shot, knowing, hey, with every bullet that exits that muzzle, there's a lawyer attached, So
Yeah.
and when I kind of realized through that, I was like, hey, you probably keep your mags loaded.
That's
In
right.
a safe place. I
Lesson
mean,
to be learned
thankfully,
anywhere.
Yeah.
thankfully he was able to get some rounds in there.
Yeah,
But
while
imagine-
cradling his AR, running barefoot, dropping rounds probably as he's going. I'm just imagine when you look at this guy too, he's he just reminds me of just a nice dad.
I was going to say, he looks like a good dad.
He's he doesn't have any tactical training or like professional, but he would actually sought out training. He took it upon himself, just like you did, Sarah, took it upon himself to actually get good and efficient with his tools, right? And so he said he just got done with a class that actually taught you how to shoot around body armor in case you ever found yourself in that situation. Now, a lot of people hear that like, what, you want to shoot cops or something like that? It's like, no, dude, it's actually a class all about shot placement. And also it's a thinking class because if you can slow down enough, even in a stressful situation, to take coordinated, accurate, and precise shots on a moving target that's actually shooting back at you, bro, that's teaching you to use your mind before anything else. People look at it with such a negative mindset and the wrong mindset that they're not actually stopping to think like, oh, shit. And I think he said, 2 weeks later?
Something like that.
Within a month, he found himself in that exact situation where this guy killed over 20 people at a church, and he ended it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That just shows right there. The answer to a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Period. I mean,
Period.
It's always kind of,
people don't understand that.
Like, okay, so somebody shows up, let's say I don't have my firearm on me, which is a rare day. And typically I think what's going to happen is somebody with a gun that's bad is doing bad things or showing up. They're calling police who are going to show up with guns. So when people say, what, are more guns the answer? Literally, yes.
Yeah.
I see it also as like a moral responsibility for my family members and other people around me. It's honestly
for
like
yourself,
caring.
Too.
It's like caring for, obviously, making sure that you're protected and the family around you, friends around you. It's
Guys,
ultimately caring for other people.
As a former police officer, I am not waiting for police to come protect me. Period.
No.
I'll tell you this, and all my police officer friends, they know this, they understand this themselves too. We get there when things are done.
Yeah.
When police
You're your
are
own
minutes
first
away,
responder.
you got seconds counting on you.
Yeah, you
So-
guys are a reactive force. I mean,
Yeah.
I dispatched and took 911 calls for a couple of years at a local police department. And yeah, dude, I never had somebody call me and say, somebody's actually getting ready to shoot up a place.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting ready to stab me. Somebody's,
There's shots fired, man.
There's shots fired, or I've been stabbed, or every now and then you'll get like, hey, somebody's looking shady, and it's kind of like, okay, we can go check it out.
Yeah.
But you know what they haven't done yet? Somebody can look shady. That doesn't mean they're breaking the law.
Yeah. No.
Law enforcement can't just arrest somebody or just it's for looking a certain way.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to take it upon yourself to I don't know, preserve your own life, because ain't nobody else really gonna do that. for
Nobody
you.
takes care of you better than you.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. So that's how that be. But anyway, so I'm really, really proud of you in a sense, though, because not in a sense, I am, because you literally took that step. Like, okay, my husband wants a gun in the house. Instead of me relying on him, because this is another thing that happens too. A buddy of mine said, hey, I want a shotgun for home defense. And I'm like, I know who your wife is. I've been friends with her for years. She will look at that shotgun and say, I rather use a kitchen knife. Because I've
You're
seen
going to do more damage
Yeah.
if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she'll look at it and be like, I don't even know how the action works. I know the trigger is what makes it go bang. And I know which end of the gun to be aiming at the target. Right. And I was like, are you sure you want a shotgun for that? Because here's what's going to happen is you leave the house. She stays home. She's now in a situation without you there to have to be able to defend herself and the family. He's like, oh man, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
You gotta have so that's why I'm kind of like the advocate for have multiples and let her choose what the one she's most comfortable with.
Yeah.
And also know your environment. Like a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people get guns, but do you ever practice like clearing your own home? I do it all the time. I legit like practice like every place I live.
I don't know why that's funny to me.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
know
It's a
what?
lot of fun.
It is, we're all friends. We're having a good time, joking. It is. But honestly, when I think about this, like every place I've ever lived, I would clear that place like, I don't know, hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Just so I know my angles.
Yeah.
Everything. At
Know
night,
your lights.
at
Know your
night,
gear,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
You know how many times I learned really hard at the Surefire event. I love my Mark 18. You know what I didn't do well with? My Mark 18.
Yeah.
Because that VTAC or the Viking Tactics barricade, like I was able to get my shots on target and everything, but all of a sudden that, the really heavy, bulky stuff that I have hanging off of it, trying to shoot through that really narrow rectangle and get my shots at an awkward angle while also activating my light.
Yeah.
Because now I can't see my target. It's completely dark. I got to shoot in this weird angle and try to make contact with that. Granted, how often is that going to happen? I don't know. Stephen Williford thought the same thing. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe I should reorganize this.
Or even something more simple for most people who have just a pistol at home, knowing how your red dot works if you have that, knowing your light works, knowing that you can do momentary or constant on, simple things like that.
So one thing that I don't know that a lot of people think about is also your reaction time. And depending on who you are, like male or female, it also kind of depends on the type of assault, quote unquote, that might happen to you. So for a man, you're more apt to go towards whatever it is that's happening. So if somebody's breaking into your house, you're going towards them, right? As a woman, they already might be on top of you. So in order for me to get my gun, I cannot rack my gun if somebody's already on top of me.
Right.
And that's for any situation. Men are more apt to go to the fight, whereas women are getting attacked. We're getting attacked. We're getting attacked from behind. We're getting attacked in ways that are not allowing us to react in like the absolute perfect situation too. So a lot of times people don't think about, well, carrying one in the chamber, it actually really is important, specifically for women, because we might not have all of our hands. We might not have the ability to now draw my gun, rack my gun, and take care of whatever I need to take care of. I might not be able to. So there's a lot of things that go into it too that people don't normally think about as far as
totally
women
agree.
versus men.
And one thing you said too is you're less likely to go into the fight.
Right.
And I think people think of this kind of perfect home defense situation where they're attacking the person, you know, and many others have talked about this, but one that sticks out to me is Clint Smith, because he's been in so many firefights. He's been, I mean,
he's been shot.
Yeah, he's been shot. I mean, AKs, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And this guy's like, no, he's like, first of all, my wife is going to she's going to be more proficient at firearms or equally proficient with an equally proficient firearm itself. Instead of getting like, something cheaper, but then you go with like, say Gucci
staccato CS.
Yeah.
Right. I'm running in with a staccato CS, and he's over there like, okay, great. Give her the high point. You're gonna have a good day, right?
Yeah. Give the high point muddy girl. You got that. You stay in the corner. I'll go
3
get
rounds.
the threat.
Good job.
Sorry. I meant the Smith & Wesson J frame with the pink grip.
Oh yeah, that too. But anything.
I can see her over there like, don't you dare joke about that.
Flip tables.
Ironically, Clint Smith does go with the revolver around the ankle for reasons.
You told me
about that.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what you can do? You can push that thing right into somebody's chest.
That's the contact shot.
That's the contact
But
shot.
that's a bug gun. That's not.
Yeah.
Let's be real. That's a bug gun.
I mean, it's a tool.
Please.
It's the get off me gun.
Yeah.
And it's also a plan B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's probably a plan D. Plan A is avoid the situation. Plan B is de-escalate the situation. Plan C is escalation.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to go into. The part 2 of that was Clint Smith said, hey, I don't need to go into this threat. If he wants to come into my bedroom, then we can deal with it there.
Yeah.
You know, don't force it.
Yeah.
Don't go towards it. Let them come to you.
And that was something that I mentioned in a video before too. And then a lot of the comments were like, no, if there's a threat in my house, I'm going for it. And it's like,
why?
Yeah,
with kids, it gets different.
Yeah,
true.
No, that was
the thing. What we talked about there is like if we have our family in the bedroom with us, and if there's a gunfight in there, they would be potentially be in jeopardy. I know my house better than the bad guy. I could try to take the fight to him to protect the family.
But I'm just going to bring up one point. I don't mean to cut you off though. You'd be surprised when I was working you may have seen this too, working law enforcement, but when I was taking 911 calls, stuff like that, a lot of the threats would be very, very close. Family members even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Family members could be a good friend, quote unquote good friend.
Absolutely.
You invited, so one that I actually, dealt with personally was a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
I trusted my friend, therefore I put trust in the guy he brought into my house. Next thing you know, I'm missing things.
Yep.
100%. No, you're spot on, dude. Like a lot of times the bad guy is generally somebody you know pretty closely.
Oh yeah, it is.
But yeah, it was the Clint Smith thing, like some ambush is always much preferred, right? You'll have the upper hand. But the argument that we had, or discussion I would say, is if you have your family locked up in a bedroom with you, most likely if the bad guy's going to come to you, there's going to be a gunfight there. So there's a good chance that they may be in jeopardy. So try to protect them, take the fight to them. That was the only variable.
And that's where it gets different with children.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's up to the layout of your house. There's many factors there.
Yes.
And the conversations with the kids.
And the conversation, the whole family should know exactly like, hey, if this happens, you have a contingency plan. I also want to go back to what you were talking about before, because you don't know what position you might be in when you get attacked, which reminds me yet of another video that we see on social media. Guy goes, picks up the woman. He walks by her once, robs her, and then picks her up, throws her on the sidewalk, and she's paralyzed. Broke her spine. Yeah. So
where was that video? I didn't see that video.
I've not seen that.
Oh, it's pretty intense. But anyway,
Recent?
yeah, a little bit more recent, like within the last month or so. But so it's kind of like, dude, the biggest thing that anybody could do, male, female, whatever the hell, is be observant. Observe your surroundings, because one thing that's a really common thing is you like that thing that just fell on the floor, that phone. There's a lot of people that are glued to that. Their eyes aren't up. And then there's those of us too that you kind of recognize those, and you kind of see a partner every now and then. Nothing spoken, but I have literally walked into, I've been on a subway before, and I noticed somebody who looked like he took care of himself. He looked like he was in shape, and he was standing back in the corner, and all he was doing, he had his phone out, but he had it down here, and he was just kind of like, every now and then I would just see him kind of like,
Yeah.
and he's vibing. He has his headphones on. He's just looking, and he's just.
It's not paranoia.
No,
it's
he's just looking. He's just
being
looking
aware.
around, dude. And I'm noticing that. I'm kind of sitting. I got my back against it. I have the door to my right, and then the other door down there to the left, and I notice him. I kind of look at him and just kind of give him the heads up, like the entire what's up nod, and he, what's up, and then we both go back to just kind of, all right, cool, look. It's not like, again, it's not paranoia, but it's also knowing that. Yeah, there's a Staten Island train shooting. There's this, there's that. There's this stuff, like, guys, evil exists.
Yep.
And
it's not always the mass things. It's not always the mass casualties or the mass shootings or whatever. And I try and teach that a little bit too, which was part of the whole me growing up, better off scared than dead.
Right.
There's a lot of things of situational awareness. I mean, it all starts there.
Yep.
Like, your safety starts at your situational awareness. There's a lot more things that you could avoid than get yourself into. And you see that a lot too. You see people, you're like, well, if you had just done this, then this wouldn't have happened. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but still, eyes up, stay off your phone.
Yeah, you're talking about the reaction time, right? Where would you be faster if you saw the threat coming as opposed to when the threat is on you?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, so take all that into consideration. Now, with all that being said, there's also different tools that we can use for if that situation arises. So what is your ideal, or what you're trusting the most right now for concealed carry as far as holster firearm goes?
Yeah. So I'm carrying the P365 XL Rose.
Yep.
Love that gun. It's a fabulous gun. It's a great, obviously, first setup gun too, because you get all of the fun stuff. And then my go-to, I will most likely never carry anything other than the Filster Enigma with the 0G holster from Eclipse Holsters.
Yeah.
That is my absolute go-to. I just change out the holster whenever I change the gun. And so that's been honestly the biggest lifesaver, especially for women too, I think, because we can carry in whatever we want. We're not subjected to the jeans and the gun belt and the baggy shirt and whatever.
Yeah.
I've carried in dresses, I've carried in skirts, I've carried in more tight fitting clothes as well. It takes a lot to get the concealment proper, but
Those are the ones that Kaya watches, by the way.
Yeah. I love him.
Thanks.
Yeah, those are the ones that he has to, really got to practice with.
Yeah. It might work for you. It might work for you. It might.
All
Yeah,
right,
you got to
we'll
practice
see.
that
It
deep
really
concealment.
might. Yeah.
Like,
Deep.
Oh yeah, there's
deep,
a whole thing on deep concealment too. Doesn't work for me because my pants are too tight for that.
Oh, mine too.
We share so much.
My
Kyle.
shirts, my pants.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Is it the prison pocket? Is that?
What? What? I like shirts. My shirts
I like
tighter.
shirts.
I like shirts. I like turtles.
I like shirts.
I like turtles.
I like
Oh man, guys, if you can't make fun of each other, are you really
you
friends?
heard it here, guys.
Yeah,
Kyle likes
Sarah-
shirts.
Kaya likes
Sarah's just so cool, so it's easy to just have fun with her.
Stick around.
But no, seriously, I do like on a very serious
I like
note.
shirts.
I like slim fit stuff, generally speaking.
We are fully aware, Kaya.
What? How?
Fully aware.
How?
Who's your tailor in town?
Considering we wore the same pants yesterday,
You know who
we're
my
fully
tailor
aware.
was? Like straight up, that was actually really funny.
Literally.
That they were not tight.
Comment section.
My tailor is Baby Gap. Keep going.
What were we talking about?
He puts himself in these holes. I don't really understand.
Yeah, I mean, I made a joke, and then obviously it just went way off base from there.
You got to be able to make fun of yourself, guys. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Oh man,
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
No, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But
So, Filster Enigma, Zero G
There we go.
holster. And I preach about it all day long on my Instagram, my YouTube. Literally, you'll never see me in anything else, honestly. It's, I mean, I originally started doing, like, when I first started, I was like, I'm going to do every single holster I can get my hands on. I'm going to try it out and see what happens. And that's fine. It's very expensive. Don't recommend that.
Yeah.
So, basically, I'm telling you what to not do. You can just look at my page. And it's actually funny. So circle back to the corset holster.
oh yeah,
Yeah. So my first experience with somebody telling me what I was doing was wrong was with that holster. I posted a picture of myself in my car with in like with my your shirt up, trying to draw from like showing it. And this lady, and I'll never forget it, I deleted the whole post because of her, and I don't even remember who she was, I don't even really remember what she said, but I know she told me that with your following, you cannot post things that are unsafe, regardless of whatever it is you're trying to get from it, whether it was free, whether you think that it's a great option, it's not. You need to think about the things that you're posting. And I didn't even have that big of a following at that point, but she was like, a lot of women follow you and take what you say into account and trust you on what you're saying, and you cannot post things that are unsafe.
That was really wise. of
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
And in the moment, I was like, this bitch. Like, how dare you come for me like that? Like, I did nothing wrong. And then thinking about it, and apologies to whoever you were, I don't even remember who it was, but thinking about it, like, I literally took the post down because I was embarrassed. I was like, I don't know what I did wrong. I thought this was safe. This girl told me it was safe. This is the same holster that she was carrying. Why is it not safe if I'm doing it? Like, it works. But then looking back, I'm like, damn, that was not safe. Like, that is an absolutely...
So I was going to ask, for us guys who don't know too much about like bolsters and corsets and all that stuff.
All right, I'm just going to... Fuck it. It is...
Yeah, lay it out. Send it.
So, it's the Dean Adams corset holster.
okay.
It is literally a... Are you guys familiar with shapewear?
Yeah.
Like, you know what a corset is.
Yes,
Right?
of course that is. Yep, check.
So it is basically, they took shapewear as a corset. And shapewear is, hugs all the right things and makes it look skinny and so they took shapewear and turned it into, they put pockets on it. Literally, that's all they did. They took a corset and they put pockets on it.
Okay.
And there's a little piece of Velcro, like the soft Velcro inside. And they just advertised it at that time as you put your gun in there. There's another little pocket that you put a credit card in, and that is your trigger guard.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And there's a lot of companies that think that this credit card thing is an accurate or safe form of trigger guard. And this is the type of shit that, like, they advertise towards women. I have nothing against this company. I just think that they need to advertise it in a different way, and they might now. I don't follow any of it now anymore, so I don't
seen
know.
that because I think I remember like seeing something like
so
that
too.
Yeah.
at one point in time, and I was kind of like, what?
So
is that a good
there
idea?
is Velcro inside.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea is you put like the 0G from Eclipse is a Velcro option. So I think the idea is you put the solid Kydex holster. It gives you the option.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you want to do this, great. Does not conceal properly after that. It bulges so
Yeah.
far
I was
out.
gonna
It's
say,
like
like,
an extra 3 inches off of your body. There's no way for like grip to be pushed into your body. It's literally just a corset with pockets on it. And that's what they advertise towards women. So at that time, I was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. And then now looking back, I'm like, holy shit. So, but that's the thing is like, I still see it. I still see it happening. And the brawl holster, great concept. Sure. Absolutely does not fucking work for everyone. I will say I have a friend who is very well endowed and she can conceal under that very well, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that if you're not training with that every single day and that's not your preferred way of carrying all the time, you can forget how to use it. And if you don't do it properly, it doesn't work.
Right.
So there's just a lot of random shit out there, and everything on Amazon, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Anything on Amazon, don't buy it. Just getting reputable stuff, solid Kydex, 100%, never wear anything else. People will argue all day long about the leather holsters, about the sticky holsters, and I'm not trying to name drop and like bash people, but I'm just like trying to, and that's like the whole premise of my account is like, I don't want to sugarcoat things for people because everybody else is like, hey, it's great.
And that's something I see with off-body carry is that
Yep.
people will say, if you know, if you have a gun on you, then off-body carry's fine.
There's nothing that irks me more than the concealed carry section for women at Cabela's. Like, not only are they fucking hideous, but it's just why sure, we carry purses. Great. Men carry purses now too.
They're called satchels.
Whatever you want to call it. But why is
Mine's called a fanny pack, but yeah.
But why is it that every time somebody's like, all right, you're a lady carrying, here's a purse. Figure it out. No man who's teaching you how to conceal carry draws from a purse, first of all. Second of all, what do you do with that purse? You put it down. You put it away from your body. It's the first thing I fucking forget.
And what's the first thing that a thief or someone
takes your purse?
Takes your purse.
Now they have your gun. Are you going to fight for your purse? If it has my gun in it, maybe. If it didn't, take all my money. I don't care. That's worth less than my life.
Yeah.
But now that my gun's in there, now you have my address and my gun, and God only knows what you're going to do with that. And yeah, there's just, I am a soapbox preacher for this. The purses. Oh God.
You've already answered like throughout this conversation 2 of my big questions I was going to ask you, which was 1, do you carry one in the chamber?
Yes.
Absolutely. And then 2, your thoughts on off-body carry.
Yeah.
Because I've always said that, you know, like, dude, I've had, you know, girlfriends in the past, stuff like that. Oh, I carry a gun. I'm like, oh, sweet. Dude. I'm like, all right, that's cool. You get the cool points there. It's like, what do you carry? It's like, oh, I got this little Taurus LCP. And I was like, or Ruger LCP. And I'm like, oh, okay. And
which is totally fine. I'd rather you have that on you than nothing at all.
Yeah. And
honestly.
then, I get that. And then it was the purse. I was like, just in the purse, not even for a concealed carry purse, just in the purse. And I'm like, can you get it out and show me? Yeah, absolutely. Scrounge around, grab gun. Cool. I don't think there's anything in it.
Oh dear God.
I don't think there's.
So okay, I'm like, all right. You know what? I was impressed. Now I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, well, there was no second date.
Yeah. It's just if you're a woman, here's a purse, and then figure it out. And like,
that's not how this works.
There was I cannot for the life of me remember who it was that I watched. It's a very reputable YouTuber. Him and his wife do this together, and they did a video. My father-in-law sent it to me. They did a video because I was considering carrying in a purse. I was like, there's options. Like, that's a great option. Let's talk about it. And he sent me this video, and it was the husband attacking, quote unquote, the wife, showing how quickly can you get this out of your purse.
Oh, I've seen this video.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was not fast.
No.
It did not work. There are a lot of purses that'll let you shoot through the purse.
Was she the redhead? I think I remember this video. I swear I did.
It's an older couple.
Yeah. All right, this video's
Wrong
probably
redhead.
this video's probably been done before. Let's just throw that.
Yeah,
out there, so.
no, it's totally been done. This was the one that I specifically watched.
Yeah.
That changed my entire mindset of off-body carry in general. But
You said
yeah,
there's purses that you can shoot through?
well, I mean,
Like
technically,
Yeah.
you
you
can
can
shoot
like
through.
H&K, like
Like
a
the briefcase.
briefcase.
So what they do is there's like the purse, and then instead of putting it inside the purse, there's a pocket on the outside of the purse,
Yeah.
so that you
You can just
can
switch.
slide your hand. I guess if you're like
Yeah.
carrying it, like, oh, don't
It's a
worry
purse.
about me.
Just
yeah.
imagine a purse
Yeah,
right in my hand.
don't I'm walking along, no big deal. Slide my hand in the purse like this,
Yeah.
not moving, and shoot through it.
Okay.
That is a perfect scenario situation for using your gun, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It kind of reminds me of like some of the hoodies out there that are like the concealed carry hoodies for appendix carry.
Well,
So that way it has the pocket inside the pocket, and you can literally be walking around with your hand on your gun. You know, and the
have
idea
one of
is,
those.
the idea is not to come up through the pocket because that's a lot to get snagged, but to actually shoot from underneath.
Yeah.
You know, which is again, I think it's actually a pretty cool idea because that's just a option. It's not my only option because I can still go from hands out, grabbing the hoodie, grab, draw, shoot. It's not my only option. Like if it's a purse, then I have to insert my
my
hand.
only option.
That's my only option, and that kind of sucks.
Or try and figure out how to get it out.
Yeah, you know,
And for
that's
the
not gonna
ones
work.
that you try and shoot through, getting it out of the purse to use it properly is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
You have to like basically toss your purse.
Yep. So off-body carry, I'm not a big fan of. Now there are other solutions that are.
I do fanny pack carry though.
So fanny pack
Yeah.
carry is cool. I was just at the Gundy's and we saw Coltac there, and he's got this like magnet zipper mechanism that allows, and he had it there for like binoculars, and he was like, "Oh yeah, look at this." Literally opens up, and then you pull it out the binoculars, and then it automatically reseals, and then puts it right back. I'm like, bro, make that a holster.
Yeah.
Make that a
fanny
holster
pack.
right now,
Make
because
it a fanny pack.
yeah, and then we saw Ursula at Staccato, and Lena even does this. They have the thigh rig, the concealed thigh rig that they carry, and they carry their wallet and
Looks
everything.
a
in
little
it.
bit too tactical for me.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
and, you know, I
I
get that totally. But again, these are. Is that technically off body? I mean, it's on body. You can't really like.
So
you know what I mean?
It's, I'd say,
it is technically.
I think technically off.
Yeah.
But it also allows you
Technically,
to, you know.
but it's like hybrid almost. I'd
Yeah,
say.
Yeah.
it's interesting. I like it too. I like that type of setup,
Yeah.
whatever. If I were like, you know, going out in the woods or something like that, you know what I mean, like hiking or something.
Yeah, I've carried like that before. Technically, I think I consider off-body carry in something that I can just remove and not think about.
Yeah,
Like
backpacks.
Yeah,
things like
I
that.
have to
Yeah.
physically know that I'm taking a fanny pack off.
Yeah.
And a fanny pack is basically the same draw minus the zipper
Yeah.
as an appendix carry. So, I just know I'm taking a fanny pack off. Nobody's gonna try and steal my fanny pack. They're gonna come at me from
you never
come
know.
at me
Nobody
from a
wants to
weird
be seen
angle.
with a fanny pack.
Hey man, hey, AWS gear. I just got one of their tactical fanny packs, and it allows you to. I can tell you right now, I will be rocking that thing. Probably not at NRA when we go there tomorrow.
Yes.
I was gonna say couple weeks.
They'll
Anyway,
see this after NRA.
yeah, they'll see this after NRA. But yeah, we're headed to Indianapolis, where I will be carrying because you know people be crazy. I carried last year at NRA, so you know, I mean, whatever, dude. I can say that, right? Like,
That's the first thing I was thinking about. I was like,
yeah.
Are you allowed to?
But you know
As I
what?
said, I think, I mean, concealed carry can happen, but they also say, I mean, depending, I have to look up the laws for Indiana where it is this year because they can say that, like, hey, if you're in a convention center, crowded areas, you can't, stuff like that. Screw you.
Maybe the convention center is a gun-free zone.
Is it a government building?
No, it's a convention center.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Nah,
if, I mean, dude,
I honestly think
there was
if
just a
you
shooting
can't
at a
carry an
bank.
NRA show, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it's the NRA show. I think literally everybody should be able to carry if they want to.
in Houston
That-
last year they allowed it. So like,
Oh, yeah.
so like, I mean, they pretty much straight up said because the only places that you weren't allowed to carry a gun where Donald Trump was speaking.
How ironic
Which
would
is-
it be
I get it, yeah.
if an anti-gun protester shot up an NRA event?
So here's the funny thing, right? I got into
Can
an
I say
argument.
that?
That would be pretty ironic.
Yeah, no, you can say that.
Pretty
You know,
ironic.
I've been in like literal arguments because it goes from
Biggest mistake
like,
ever too.
it goes from. So here it is. I've got a very left-wing family member, and his words to me one day were when we were talking about again the big gun debate. This was at Thanksgiving several years ago. His words to me were, "I wish I could just go to the NRA headquarters and just blow it up." And I was like,
The bathroom?
Did you just hear? No.
Whoa. Whoa. Back up.
I was like, wait a minute. Time out.
I blacked out for a second. What just happened?
I was like, it's this very anti-gun family member.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just said, I wish I could go to the NRA headquarters and just blow it up. And I was like Timothy McVeigh?
Whoa.
Like IRS?
Yeah.
Member? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, now hold on now. Do you realize I carry a gun because there are people like you in the world?
Yeah.
Like, let's take a step back really quick. Listen to what you just said. You technically just voiced a threat in a sense. I wish I could, right? Yeah. I wish I could enact violence upon a bunch of group of people that have done
minding their own damn business.
Yeah.
I'm like,
somebody you guys don't agree, like you don't agree with.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So you disagree with me, so therefore I should be blown up.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm not an NRA member. I'm a Gun Owners of America member. I'm a Firearms Policy Coalition. I believe in organizations that actually fight for your rights. But I can tell you right now that I do not wish death upon anybody in that sense.
Most gun owners, like
tyrants, I guess.
Honestly, like I got into gun industry pretty recently, right?
Yeah.
And one of the nicest people I've ever met, just your conservative gun owners.
Yep.
And I'm not saying on the left there aren't good people. Of course, there are good people everywhere. But I'm just saying specifically gun owners. Awesome people, very respectful, cool people. Like SHOT Show, the NRA show, like super respectful, good people. I have nothing bad to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
I wonder if we'll see the same things that were yelling at us last NRA.
Okay.
There was the you should go self-delete.
On our last podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Should go self-delete, and I did something to your mom. What were those words?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Something like that. They'll probably be there.
They'll probably be there. I hope Brandon is too again.
Not before 12 p.m. though. That's a key part.
That's pretty funny. It is pretty. We're all walking there early, and it's kind of like, man, where are they at? Sleeping in?
Yeah, literally. And then we came out for lunch, and we're like, oh, there you are.
Oh, there they are.
They just started.
Cool. Yeah, I really appreciate the guy that was yelling last year there. Goes, you are dressed appropriately for the weather. Good job.
The worst insults you could ever imagine being hurled at the NRA side. And this guy's like, you look fantastic today. Your outfit is incredible.
He's like, it's 85 degrees outside. Stay hydrated.
Dude, it was...
This guy was amazing. He was on our side.
I was going to say, he was in the protest or no?
He was on NRA.
Yeah.
He was outside the, this was in Houston. He was standing outside the convention center at Houston where the NRA annual meet was. And dude, he had a thunderous voice. These guys had their PA systems and everything else. Didn't need it. And he just said, you are appropriately dressed for the weather. That was so funny.
I just want to go in with like random signs. Just collect a bunch of signs like we buy used cars.
Yeah.
Like just like super random.
I like shirts.
I like shirts.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Like
One of our employees here said, I'm going to go join the protesters. And I'm like, oh, what are you going to protest? He goes, my employer's inside. Pay me more.
I'm officially on strike.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. But anyway, so I think we can probably just start wrapping it up here, though. I think we got another video to shoot. I mean, I don't know. I know you got to start heading back home soon.
True.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe we could go to the range again. I don't know.
We've got to bring all this stuff that we're recording on.
Shit, we got to pack all this up
to Indianapolis.
Yeah, because we're flying.
That's right.
Yeah, because we're
Are you coming?
No. I have to work. You're also like the 7th person that's asked me that this week.
Oh, actually, you know what? That's something else too. I do this every time. It's time to wrap it up. And 1 hour later, but it's what do you do? Outside
for a living.
The Peace of Mind _
I'm a wedding photographer. So I am a photographer and I'm self-taught. And my job, I'm a full-time wedding photographer. That's what I do.
Bam.
Awesome.
Yeah, nothing fancy. I mean, it is cool. But
It's really cool.
That is really cool. Photography is pretty cool.
Yeah, been doing it for 6.5 years. So,
Nice.
Full time. Yep.
Well, look at you
Yep,
go.
yep, yep, yep.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah,
That
so I have
is
a
really
wedding
cool.
this weekend.
Oh, do you? Oh, so that's why you're not
I have
going.
2 shoots.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, and then I'm off Saturday. And then
Well,
yeah.
nice.
Do you have
man.
a website?
I do have a website.
Do we want to talk about it?
Shameless plug?
Yeah, shameless plug.
Shameless plug. It's Serendipity Photography.
I see what you
Um,
You
but
are
it's-
all about the little.
I love it.
the
See, I
Peace
told
of
you.
Mind.
Double
I told you.
entendre.
Love it.
Yeah.
And it's spelled SARANDIPITY.
That is
Photography.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
She
pretty
thought
freaking
about
neat.
it. Yeah.
Look at you guys.
I try.
You're so clever.
I try.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us, shooting with us, all that stuff. Before we wrap up, one more question. Range time yesterday. What was the favorite gun you shot?
Obviously 50 cal.
Yeah, that was your first time shooting the Barrett, right?
First time.
Oh,
Yeah, super
Thunderous.
fun. Bucket list check. And then Ryan's AR build that we
dude.
got to shoot.
All right,
That
so
was super cool.
Softest
First of
shooting
all,
gun.
so we shout out to Huxworks also for hooking us up with a couple of silencers because
Auburn.
dude, yeah, Auburn, where you at, bro? But elaborate about your build because this bitch is a soft shooting, no gas back to the face. Just go.
Okay, so we'll do it in the future, like a full video.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It
But
deserves a video.
All right, so I started at the barrel, which was a Criterion 13.9 barrel. And I was like, I love this thing. If anyone knows the barrel profile on it, it's great. It's lightweight. Amazing. All right. I used Black River Tactical. It was gas tube. So they make custom gas tubes for suppressors. So you can actually have like the right port sizing in the gas tube for that specific suppressor, which is the Huxworks. And because of that, it gets like just enough gas. It's that perfect like 3 to 4 o'clock positioning.
So
and
fun.
it's less recoil because of that. Yeah.
Dude.
And
So
super
fun.
clean.
Yeah.
Oh, mid-length as well, of
Mid-length.
course.
Oh, yeah.
Love the
Yeah.
mid-length. Dude, I mean, it shoots so freaking well. So it's those of you that don't know you're listening. I mean, Ryan, he's not only our videographer, content coordinator, and all that type of stuff. This man shoots pixels and bullets. All right,
I love it. Yeah.
So
it's
do
fun.
I.
It's fun.
Oh yeah, Sarah, what am I doing?
It's
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Always shooting something.
It's always
Yes,
shooting something, man.
exactly.
Well, dude, again, glad to hear it. We ran some awesome drills yesterday. Those videos will be out soon if they're not already out. So you guys make sure that you are subscribed to the Classic Firearms YouTube channel. And of course, our only legitimate Instagram account for now, at Classic Firearms Official. Make sure you're spelling everything correctly and all that stuff. But we can leave it off there. Don't forget, Sarah.
I want to say thank you because I could never find someone who resonated with my wife, you know, as far as like content creation. Like I always had like my YouTubers I watch and things like that on Instagram, whatever. And she found you on TikTok and now she's into firearms. So
And now I'm
I want to
here.
personally thank
And
you.
now you're here.
Oh.
And we went out to dinner last night.
Yeah.
right.
So, I mean, obviously I've thanked her many, many times, but thank her again for me because I wouldn't be here without her.
You're
Which,
sure
by the
there
way,
are
I know we
many-
mentioned earlier that she was here. She had to leave. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But you know what? I'm sure there are many, many Nicoles out there.
Yes.
Like seriously,
dude.
so many
That's
of them.
so
So
right.
you should be
That makes me
definitely
really
proud.
happy.
And that makes that you should never stop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Hell yeah. Well, Sarah, again, at the Piece of Mind, peace as in like peace, like you're carrying a gun.
Yeah.
Piece, Piece. There it
Yep.
is. Underscore.
Yep.
At the Piece of Mind underscore. Sarah, thank you so much. It's been an absolute
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
And guys, we hope you tune in for our next one on the CF podcast. God bless and see you soon.